for today. We're so blessed that you're joining us. We've been discussing for the past several episodes about connecting with your audience. And, we're talking about, when you're trying to grow your email list, to grow your contact list, to grow your client base. And we've been talking about, when you get a referral, referrals are the best way of doing that. But you can't just jump right in and take a referral. Hey, John, meet Bob. Bob does this, John does this. I'll leave it to you two now to follow up from there. You just can't jump right in and start pitching John about your services. No, we covered about, hey, it's good to meet you. That's how you first start handling it. And then wait for them to respond. They'll usually respond with something correct like that back. Hey, nice to meet you too. Again, no pitching, nothing like that. You wait for them to respond. Then you can ask them, so I know since, Frank introduced us, you must be really awesome. What is it you do? And then let him or her respond back to that. And you're starting to get to know them, right? And when they respond back, then you give them a comment. Wow, that's awesome. That's really a needful thing that you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Just no pitching. Just let them talk. It's a conversation, right? And pretty soon, they'll start talking about themselves. And then you can, they'll ask you a question like, well, that's what I do. What do you do? And then you tell them what you do. Again, no pitching. You just make them, provide them the information. Let them respond. They might have a question, right? And then it's a conversation. It's not a sales pitch. Okay, that's what you're trying to do here, is not have a sales pitch, just to get to know each other through a conversation. Okay, and then once they've started talking about themselves and you have this real conversation with them, when they start talking about with you about what they do, now you can share what you do, and still no pitching. Like I do in podcast interviews with Christian entrepreneurs, blah, 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 like that. But would you like to be on my podcast? Could I help you grow your business? No pitching. You just say, hey, this is what I do. What you're doing is awesome. This is what I do. And then wait for them to respond again. And make your next response depending on what they respond with. If they have a question, wow, you help people grow their business through podcast interviews. How does that work? Now you have an opportunity to tell them. Share a little bit about what you do and how you help people promote what they do and things like that. And praise them and thank them for their interest. Still not a sales pitch. Still not pitching them at all. This is just a conversation. You can share a little bit about what you do. That'll help them, explain how that will help them do what they do better. Okay? Just describe the area you help with. That's it. And then ask them, if that interests them, would you like me to send you some information on that? It doesn't matter what they respond with. Yes or no or another question. It does not matter. Now is the time that you can share a link to your website that discusses what you do. Okay? So let's back it up from the beginning again. You get this introduction through a referral. And you just say, hi, John. Nice to meet you. I'm Bob. And then let him respond, hey, Bob, how are you? This is John, and I do this XYZ. Great. How's that work? Man, that sounds awesome. How does that work? Get them talking about themselves. And then they'll provide some background information. And then they'll say, what do you do? Oh, well, I do XYZ. This is how we help people do that. Oh, wow, that's cool. Just a conversation, like you're meeting for coffee. You've seen your friend at the coffee shop. He's there with John, and he introduced you, and you're just having a conversation. That's all you want to do. And they say, wow, this is interesting, because how does that work? Because I have this business. How does that work? Oh, well, we could do this and that and the other thing. Tell you what, here's my website. You can take a look because it'll provide all the information. Not a sales page. It's not an opt-in page where you're trying to capture his email so you can send him all these email stuff. If you want to give them a free opt-in, make sure it's applicable to what they do. Okay, you want to make sure that you are being a blessing without asking for anything from them. Okay, and when they click the opt-in form and obtain the free offer, then guess what happens? They're on your email list. You just succeeded in growing your list, growing your contact list. You now have another person in your system. And you did it without really going out to recruit them to do it. It was just through a referral, and you established a conversation that generated interest in what you do by how? Being interested in what they do. That's how it works, folks. It's as simple as that. Amen. Be sure to click the link down below of Faithcasters Academy, because we go into different aspects of marketing and stuff like this, just like we've been talking about here. Faithcasteracademy.com is where you can find all that information. Till next time, it's Pastor Bob reminding you, be blessed in all that you do.